Hey guys, T-Boliv here, and today I'm gonna give you a quick peek at the upcoming Tech Tree Tier 8 Russian battleship, the Vladivostok. By the time this video makes it up, it'll be right about the time or shortly thereafter that this is going to be part of an early release, early access event that's going to be available for the Tier 6, Tier 7, Tier 8. This is going to be a full line that will be out probably in the next month or so. But we are going to be getting an early access event for some of the mid-tier ships. And so I thought, since Tier 8 is my personal favorite tier, and obviously a really popular one, at least here on the North American server, we would take a look at the Tier 8 battleship here. I did run some games in it yesterday, and for a Tier 8 Tech Tree battleship, it's not bad. So I'll show you guys how I set it up, how I ran it, and kind of the thought process behind why. You guys can then use your own arguments, your own logic, your own playing style to figure out what's going to work best for you. And then we'll see. Maybe we'll look at it compared to another boat or two just to kind of see. So I guess we'll start off first with the captain. I did run Kuznetsov on this, and when I get around to doing a Smolensk video, even though the event's over, I'll still do one. I will show you guys why I didn't run him on that boat. But for the battleships, I do think he's going to be a good fit. Eventually, I would like to put him on the Tier 10, but here's where we're at for the Tier 8. So, did run Bulletproof, APCS obviously. I did take Close Quarters Combat Expert just for the extra secondary dispersion because the Tier 7 and 8 at the very least do have manual and auto secondaries both. I did take 15% less flooding damage just because the flooding resistance wasn't quite where I wanted it to be, and it's a battleship, so I do expect that I'm going to take some floods from time to time. With him, Honor Seeker is obviously a arguably good skill as well. I don't gain battle medals every battle, but I do anticipate taking at least one flood every battle. So I thought that was the compartment maintenance was a better skill for me. Same with Extinguisher. I did take Marksman because these do have precise aim. This one has precise aim 3, and I wanted to extend that skill as long as I could. 20% repair kit cooldown time is obviously a beneficial skill, but I personally thought Marksman was a better choice. Also, Fire Supremacy gave me an extra one. Generalist, 6 cents. Artillery Maintenance Expert, his is improved, so you do get a little more HP. Or you get a little better main battery traverse and shell dispersion with the HP. Underwater Protection Expert Plus, and then Torpedo Alert. So if I wasn't running Kuznetsov, I'd probably be running a pretty similar build. For Tier 12, I might take Citadel Strike over... I can't remember what the stock one is here, but I'd probably take Citadel Strike. And then I'd probably end up taking High Alert instead of the Artillery Maintenance Expert, the base one, and I might take Victorious Charge. So if I wasn't running the Legendary Captain, that's probably the changes I would make. Otherwise, my build would be pretty much the same. So supplies, pretty standard. Nothing really exciting or different there. Equipment is always a very personal thing and the source of some very heated debates on Discord. I know I've been a part of a few of those. And there's some decent choices here. Turret Traverse is never a bad thing. Dispersion, especially those of you who have played Lenin, are probably going to jump for this one. I do think the dispersion is better on this, and so it's not necessary, kind of like it is on Lenin. argument could definitely be made for that. I ended up going with this option because it did buff not only my secondaries but my auto secondaries, and then as a side benefit, I get a little bit more on my AA range as well. So I do feel that was the better choice. The dispersion was minimally acceptable to me. It was a little bit better than, I felt it was a little bit better than North Carolina, maybe not quite as good as Amagi. So kind of in that area there. So that's kind of what I went with. Acceleration, just because it's a battleship and it needs the help. And I do tend to play with my throttle a lot, and so the extra responsiveness is nice. And with the steering, I definitely think it was worth doing steering in slot 3. Buffing your torpedo damage protection, it wouldn't hurt, but for me, I don't think that the benefit is worth it as much compared to the buff to steering. So that's just my personal feelings on the matter. Stats as I've got it laid out, at least, just to show you things like your secondary range, your manual secondaries, you're at 6.5 kilometers. Your autos, you're just shy of 4. Your AA range with that equipment in slot 1, you're at 3.85 on your large, 1.93 on your small. So that's kind of where I think you're going to get the most benefit with this boat and the equipment available. So let's just take a look at it compared to something else real quick, just for the fun of it. Camouflage, historical camouflage, pretty straightforward. Hit points, main battery firing range, shell dispersion, torpedo damage reduction. They just sent this to me today, Red Dawn, which is another alternative historical camo. Kind of obnoxious, personally, but it does have all of the it's just a reskin. If you look, it's got the exact same perks as the historical. I haven't jumped over to Asia to see what's going on over there with the event early, but I'm guessing that this is going to be available during the upcoming event. So if you can grind or get this for free, while it is obnoxious, it does the same things as the historical, and if it's free, then, well, you're saving yourself some gold. Yeah, so that is that's that. I think we'll take a look at it compared to North Carolina, just because I think it's going to be the closest as far as armament. And North Carolina is also a pretty popular ship. So I stripped it down. Oh, it's got elite bonus though. Well, we'll deal with that. Here, watch. Elite bonuses. There you go. Fire and flooding resistance plus 15%. Elite gun operator. Obviously, I took elite gun operator. I do think it was the better one for the boat. Hit points, 53,572 for Vladivostok here, compared to 47,790 with North Carolina, so quite a bit more health than the North Carolina does. A little bit faster too, 28.06 knots compared to 26.4. Better steering, better maneuverability. You get the same 3x3 gun configuration, 2 up front, 1 in the back. They are 406 millimeters, so 16-inch guns. Range 13.73 on Vladivostok, so just a little bit shorter than North Carolina. A little bit more HE damage, a little bit better fire chance. 1947 versus 1935, so AP is basically the same. A little bit better turret traverse though, with 5.5 degrees versus 5 on the North Carolina. Your secondaries, the North Carolina, like all the U.S. battleships, has got the 5 twin guns on each side. They're 127 millimeters, so they're the 5-inch destroyer guns. Vladivostok gets 3 per side, but they're 152 millimeters, so they're 6-inch. So they are going to do a little bit more damage. 425 versus 378. Same fire chance, same turret traverse. The auto secondaries, again, you get 3 per side. They're 100 millimeter guns. Not a lot to say about them. AA, obviously the Vladivostok is nowhere near the North Carolina in AA. You're looking 212 versus 378, same range stock. 288 versus 230, nope, versus 184. And then a surface detection 11, a little bit worse, but pretty much the same. So I mean, stat wise, fairly comparable to North Carolina, except for the hit point pool. What was the reload time? We didn't even get that, because I know the reload time, 23.5 seconds versus 22. For some reason I thought North Carolina's was shorter. So it is got a longer reload. That 23.5 second reload I know was also present for the Tier 7. The Tier 6 didn't have the 16-inch gun, so it was a little bit different. But yeah, that's about it. So stats-wise, compared to North Carolina, both boats stock, you can see there. Okay. Sorry, Split. Maybe later. Yeah. So I've got a couple games for you guys. So can I show you some of the features of the ship and how it does in battle? So let's jump over into that.
Target spotted.
All right. So first battle is here on Golden Channel. Is it Golden Channel? Yeah, it's Golden Channel. And as you can see, I have my battleship in the circle. Not really the point of this video, but since we're here, let's go ahead and take just a quick moment and talk about the fact that caps win maps. And it is not a battleship's job to cap the circle necessarily. Your speed doesn't usually allow that, but it is absolutely a battleship's job to help hold the circle. So do everybody a favor, get your boat in the circle. As usual, running with my good buddy Lost there, and being in a Cleveland and quite a bit faster, he did get to the circle first, and somehow ended up tanking for me. Was definitely not part of the plan, and we ended up getting tangled up on each other a little bit there, but he inadvertently did end up tanking for me, and unfortunately took a little more damage than we otherwise would have wanted him to. But it's all right, because we did play this game on voice chat, and for those of you who don't have somebody that you've played with enough to kind of understand each other's play style, or be able to play on voice chat with, I recommend finding somebody to do both of those things with, because it makes a huge difference in your ability to win games. During this time, we were using that voice chat to be able to coordinate who we were focusing on, and when he was taking some pretty bad damage there, we coordinated, and as you can see here, I pulled back, let him turn, and then I pushed back forward again so that I could shield, or try to shield him from some damage, try to tank for him so that he can put some effective fire on that key, and maybe not take quite so much damage in return, since I am in a battleship, and part of my job as a battleship is to tank the damage. So we're going to slap that hipper. Oh, man, one more hit would have done it. But as you can see, we were able to put some good rounds on target there, and slap that hipper pretty well. So he's going to survive just until I get my guns reloaded, and then we're going to push forward, because we're going to want to take the fight to them. As you can see, we've already managed to put up 62k. Did get myself a cap, so that helps. That was good. And at this point, we've put down another one of their destroyers, and they've got a battleship who's flanking way wide around for some reason that I still don't quite understand, but I decided I wanted to push. The Russian battleships are kind of brawlers, and I wasn't going to be able to do that from the far end of the cap, and so decided that it was time to push. Part of upping your win rate is knowing when's a good time to push and when's not a good time to push. And I will be the first to admit that I do not always get those times correct. But this definitely was the right time to push. So the key is low on health, the Nagato's low on health, and so by pushing up here, you know, I am taking some damage. The carrier's focusing on me now. Nagato managed to put Lost down, unfortunately. You know, but battleship designed to tank, so here I am tanking, being a distraction and keeping their attention on me. Sizing the key up for a shot, but Tashkent finishes him. And I know that Nagato is ahead of me, but he pushed behind the island, and since my guns were turned that way anyways, decided to put a shot on the Shukaku. No citadels, unfortunately, but that was some good full rolls there. And here, I think I really made the mistake. I was pushing too far to the right, trying to get my back turret turned. Whereas I think if I had stayed more bow on, I would have been able to kill him with just the front two guns and might not have died. But I did get enough shots off that while he did kill me, I managed to put him down as well.
Locked on.
And then this is the second game that I had for you guys. And it is on Haven, which is one of my favorite maps. I know there's a lot of people that don't like it, but I do. Although I do recognize it's a very frustrating map to play. As you guys can see, I spawned on the far left of my team, and again, not what this video is meant for, but while we're here, let's talk about it. A lot of guys who spawn on the far left, they're closer to, in this case, the B camp, and they decide to go B camp, and it's just not a good idea. I know, especially in a battleship, it takes longer to make that right and push back towards, in this case, C cap. Obviously, if you spawn on the other side, then you're going to want to go AB instead of pushing towards C. But that Nelson up there, I just took a swing at him and then decided to focus on this Kutuzov. But that Nelson, he spawned on the far left of his team, and he was closer to C, and so he pushed C, and he got absolutely wrecked. Absolutely wrecked. If he had gone towards B with the rest of his team, like he should have, he probably could have had a much better game and made a bigger impact for his team. So, I know it's a further trip, but just because you spawn closer to B, in this case, doesn't mean that you should go there. Stick with your team.
Enemy torpedo spotted.
Trust me, your win rate will go down. Anyways, back to the match. That Takao that I took the first shot at early in the match is continuing to push around and flank. I don't know if he's going after our carrier or what, but as you can see, our carrier is just sitting there right now. Their carrier's in range.
Precise aim activated.
But I'm trying to be responsible and put shots onto the cruisers first, since that's really my main goal or objective as a battleship, is to hurt the cruisers. By killing them gives my destroyers rather easier run, although they're already dead, so I guess it doesn't really matter. Yeah. Yes, I know. I have a habit of doing that. Yes.
Target hit.
I'm not going to apologize for it, though. I like shooting aircraft carriers, especially because they have a really bad tendency of focusing on me. So, here's where that steering modification in slot 3 comes in handy.
you can see for a battleship, it actually turns decently.
Enemy
Not
aircraft
great,
incoming.
but decently. And I've got another turn coming up here in just a minute where I had to pull back on the throttle and make a hard left to clear the island, and was able to do it without beaching myself.
The ship is on fire.
See, we got Shikaku straight ahead there. Gneisenau's pushing towards our left, and we're going to continue our turn. I am on fire, but I've
We're
got a
under
lot of
attack.
health. It's only one fire, and so I am going to let
Enemy
it burn,
aircraft incoming.
especially with the carrier sending planes this way again. What I don't want to do is put out a single fire
We're hit.
and end up with a double or
Enemy
triple
aircraft
in the turn.
incoming. Enemy aircraft incoming.
Keep making that turn there, and eat one, eat two. Could have been worse if I hadn't been able to make the turn. And that guy's not really healthy, and I know he's got torpedoes, and so I don't want to push
Sunbeam
straight at him
activated.
because I know if I do, I'm
We
going to
hit the
get lots
enemy.
of torpedoes. So you can see I'm still holding hard over on the left. We're going to keep making that turn. We're going to
Torpedoes.
let our secondaries work over. And I didn't realize that Loss was right there, but kind of followed him off his bow, which helped a little bit. I took one.
Good job.
But unfortunately, I didn't know he was ready to
Good
fire
job.
as well. Wasted that salvo, but still got a shot into him, or some secondaries into him. We're winding down. I don't know where the destroyer is. I don't really want to go chase him. I don't know where the cruiser is either. Lost is pinging out that way. I think that might be where the destroyer was last seen. And right about here is where that Tikal pops up again.
Our team is about to
see
win.
hard over on the left. And because I was still going full speed, I thought I threw it in reverse. I should have thrown it in reverse, but I guess I missed. So you can see that turning, that rudder shift is actually pretty good for a battleship. And there we go. We're going to clear that island, and we're going to surprise Mr. Tikal with a 16-inch AP broadside. And that's going to be about it for this game. So thank you guys for taking the time to watch.
Hit the enemy.
Comments below. I know there had been a request for a daring video, and I will get one out. I'll do a Smolensk as well. Anything else you guys want to see, let me know. Otherwise, thanks so much for watching. Have a good day, and we'll see you out there.